Greetings and salutations, race fans, motorsport lovers, and Dakar fans. And welcome to Raceday.tv and our coverage and look behind the scenes of Dakar 2020. We start on a very sad note with news that came through midday today about Paulo Gonçalves, rider of number 8 in the Hero Honda, who had a massive crash today at around about kilometer 280 and was medevaced out of the stage and sadly passed away. His death was confirmed in the hospital. It was his 13th Dakar. He was a really, really friendly, happy, smiley rider from what we can gather. And it's one of those very sad days of racing where motorsport, everybody who gets on a bike, into a car and on a machine knows and accepts the risks that it might be, they may not come back to the pits or to the bivouac. So to his family, his friends and the race team and to the larger Dakar community, Raceday extends our sincere condolences as he joins the growing number of racing people in the sky and in that racetrack. The thing about motorsport is knowing all of these dangers, very often the party goes on. In years gone by, Formula One drivers were killed and even hours later, drivers were back in the car. And so the race will carry on. It will not be the last. He will not be the last person to die on the event. We only hope that it is a long, long time before somebody else is badly injured. Let's go to what happened and just a quick summary of yesterday. It was a rest day for the crew and a work day, probably 90%, well, as Glenn said in one of the interviews, it's 100% work for the crew and around about 70% rest for the drivers and a lot of media. I'm a little bit thrown about Pablo Gonçalves' death, so sorry if I'm mixing things up a little bit. I really am thrown and I am affected by it. So let's start with go back to the rest day. The crews who are working on the cars, the technicians and mechanics, it's 100% work day for them. For the racing crew, the driver and co-driver, they spend about 30% working, and it's mainly media work, sponsors work, and a lot of liaison, and 70% rest. For the riders, a lot of them want to get through their massages and go to physios and chiros and get prepared. Indeed, yesterday we spoke to Ross Branch, and we actually had to wait quite a while he was getting patched up. The other news was that Edward Nikolaev is out of the truck race, and as the race now started today, and it moves into the second part of the race and into the empty quarter of Dakar. And from our map, the green circle on the map that you're about to see will show you where the second half of the race takes place. We raced up the left-hand side of Saudi Arabia and turn around to Riyadh for the rest day. And now we're going to the empty quarter. This is the quarter, the part of the race where it is mainly sand and dunes and with very little of the rocks that dominated the first part of the race. So the story today has been about the fight at the top, and we'll just go straight to the cars. And let's have it's about King Carlos, Nasser, Stefan Peter Hansel, Monsieur Dakar. What were they doing and how were they having a full-on go? And I called the wrong pick, but we can just go straight back to in the car. So Carlos wins from Nasser and Peter, same podium. These are the big dogs they out to fight in. And in some ways, with the expectations of going into the dunes, this was a disappointing race from Toyota. The race was fast and flat, and we've got a picture with a camel in it that shows how absolutely flat it was, and they spent many hours and long moments at absolute top results. But before we go through the rest of the cars, Henk, I'd like to go back to the bikes and back to get ourselves onto the program. Within the stage, it was there was supposed to be around about 82% of it was going to be sand and soil, and 28% of it dunes. So the dunes were the big expectations, and in the bikes, and basically Kevin Benavides on the Honda, he broke his engine on Friday. He went on full-on attack, and won his 26. His win brings him up to 26 overall. There was some confusion in the beginning as the results came in and as he crossed over the line. But he stopped at this, and other riders did stop as well to help at Pablo Gonzalez's crash. And we know that from the Erie track, when they get there, they press the button that they are at a crash, so that will then, so it's a red button which tells the organizers that they have stopped to help somebody, and then when they get going again, they press the green button, and that time then gets taken off the race time, so that they get their time back for stopping. It's one of the things that organizers have implemented so that it just encourages guys to stop for a crash. Waltner, so we got a Honda, and then Waltner in the KTM. So the first Husky was Pablo Quintela in 8th, and he lost a lot of time with tendinitis in his right hand. So it was really not a cool opening for Toby Price, who opened the stage, and Ross Branch came in 16th. Yesterday he spent a lot of time with the physios just getting fixed up, and they repaired his bike where the tube or the tire, the mousse broke and the tire came off and jammed up the chain. Got that all repaired. He went on. Tay Perry had a brilliant run into 51st, an hour 13 off the leaders, and Kirsty Landman came in 60th. Now we're going to go back and just address the issue with Kirsty. 71 was Stuart Gregory, and then 87th Graham Sharp. Yesterday on the rest day we spoke to Kirsty Landman, and we've just pulled this little clip out of the discussion with her. Have a listen to this.
Yeah, so yesterday's stage was probably my hardest stage for me. It was the fastest stage yet. We were riding, we had very few dunes, and then in between dunes was extremely long, like 20-kilometer, 15-kilometer, just flat out straights. And me coming from an extreme enduro background where we average 10 k's an hour, I was battling to get to grips with the speeds there. I mean, I was sitting at 130 thinking, yes, I'm flying, but you get guys coming past you like I was standing still. So me going to 130 is unheard of, and I did it yesterday, probably the whole day. Then I spoke to Ross this morning, and he said they were sitting at 168 kilometers an hour the whole day. So it just shows you the speed of the Dakar Rally. It's really fast.
Last words, it's really fast. And today was, from all accounts, the fastest stage yet. And I think that it's part of the growing thing of riders, and let's just talk particularly in Kirsty in the long chat we had yesterday. She's having to push each of her limits and push each of her boundaries, and high speed is one of the things that she's working on. And I tell you, I've just got to admire a rider, a driver who faces their apprehensions, those issues that they worry about, and addresses them head on and has a go and pushes through them and succeeds. She got to the end. From all accounts, she didn't have too many bad falls, and it's really, really commendable. For those of you who've asked why we haven't spoken to Tay Perry yet, we are trying to set it up, and we believe that in the next day or two we should have a good interview set up with Tay Perry. There are some, it's not as easy as it appears. But we shall continue to be ducks, calm on the surface and paddling like hell underneath. So the overall, let's have a look at Sunday's overall. It's pretty static. Ricky Brabeck is out front. Paolo Quintanilla in a Husqvarna. So Brabeck's on the Honda. Then we've got the Husqvarna. Then we've got the Honda, and Toby Price in the first of the KTMs, fallen to 4th overall. So that's, for the first time in a long time, we're seeing this really cool part of the manufacturers getting mixed up. Last year Honda were leading as well, and then they broke. So I think that each day that goes by, the teams will be getting more and more nervous to see who can make it to the end. Husqvarna up there in Pepper will be super happy with his brand. He represents the racing of Husqvarna in South Africa. From a South African perspective, Ross Branch was 27th. Yesterday he was this is in the overall, 25th. Tay Perry is still in 57th, and Kirsty Luntman moves from 64th to 62nd, so that's pretty cool. Let's go to the cars. Let's have a look at cars. And again, just in the bikes, you've got the fight at the front. Here we've got Carlos Nasser Peter. Same results as before. There was a disaster for Matthew Serradori in the Century. They got stuck on a dune, and one of the sand was really soft today, and if it wasn't read properly. So let's have a look at the stage results from today. Carlos wins his 35th stage, so same podium. And we said that it was a disappointing day for Toyota, yet there are so many of the Toyotas still in the top 10. And Alonso, absolutely brilliant in a 6. I think that's totally fantastic. Notes from the bivouac is that Bernard ten Brink and Janelle are getting better. On the stage, Henny de Klerk, and listen to this, we know that the top 30 are the seeded riders. Henny de Klerk came in 26th along with Jan Smallberger, and then 36 was Thomas Bell and Patrick McMurran. Henny sent us an update straight after the stage, and it's also just look and listen for the parts about the speed.
Good day today. So far 26 overall. Obviously there's some more cars to come in. We'll see if there's any penalties. But the navigation was very good today. Johan was on the button, 8 minutes, went through the dunes. We didn't get stuck once. Really were able to serve them. There's a couple of technical ones, but we had an excellent day. No punches for a change. The tyre pressures was fine. So all I can say is we had a really good day, and we're starting to find our space. 26, somewhere in the 20s, we can box there quite cleverly. Some of the top cars are much quicker, especially the minis are so quick on the straights. And today was, apart from the dunes, it was 180 flat out, long straights. Tomorrow I see we've got another straight of 40 kilometers straight, flat out. Yeah, so if you have a top speed, top end, you'll do better. But we're happy with our result, and we'll keep it clean. Now we've only got a couple of more days to go, 5 days to go, and if we keep it up like this, we'll hope for a better result.
That's great. And health-wise, how are you feeling after yesterday?
Yeah, a bit better. So Johan and I are both still a bit sick, so we're not 100%. Yeah, but we're taking medicines, and hopefully we'll feel even better tomorrow morning.
Great stuff, thank you.
Okay.
I think some of the sickness that the guys are talking about is the incredible temperature variations, and it getting really chilly in the evenings that things have sorted them out. So having a look at the overall results then, 15th is Fernando Alonso. At the front, Carlos Nasser Peter. It is what it is. Janelle de Villiers in 6th. And if we look at those gaps at the front, 17 minutes for the first 3, that is nothing in Dakar terminology. Henny is now 32nd and Thomas Bell 38th. So overall, it's one of those very interesting stages today where not much happened, but it actually did. And I think that the big dunes have still really to come. There were a couple of the dunes here, and I know the Toyota are praying like hell that the big dunes do come so that they do have some kind of an answer against the superior top speed of the Mini. When they can sit pinned out, the Mini is just a whole bunch quicker. They are all safe back in the bivouac, and Terence Marsh sent us a short video so that we can just get an idea of bivouac for tonight.
Okay, so they're in the stage 7. We're now in the bivouac. Everybody back safely. And obviously the service has begun. So yeah, no major issues. A little bit of a crank sensor, faulty crank sensor during the stage where they lost a little bit of time. But once they switched to the secondary sensor, then all was good. So yeah, back safely. That's 7 stages down, and 5 to go. So still a lot of work left for us in order to finish this event. But tomorrow's another day.
We've heard that again and again in interviews and talks we've had with people today. 7 stages down, 5 to go. And there are two distinct sections of this race. There are the racers, the guys who are in the top 8, who are going for overall wins and going for podiums. And then you've got the others who are going to finish as best as they can. So at the top end, it's about speed. The rest of the guys are completing this thing, getting through the world's toughest motor race. Very quickly, Quads Ignacio Casali extends his lead side by side. Casey Curry and Sean Berriman, Americans, in a Can-Am. And that Can-Am was the chassis designed by world-class racing team Stuart Thompson and his guys Achim Bergman. It was designed here and licensed out to South Racing, and we are going to get Stuart Thompson in to chat about the fact that we can design vehicles here, have them built in Europe, and end up with them winning Dakar at the first stage, or leading the race so far. In the trucks, Andrea Karganov in a Kamaz is leading. He's a Russian. They've got the lead in a truck. You can virtually guarantee he's a Russian in a Kamaz. Stage 8, tomorrow. That brings us to the end of today, and I'm sorry I'm a little bit down about it, but anyway, we move on. Stage 8 tomorrow is a loop. It's another massively long stage. They loop back to Wadi Al Dawasir. It's 239 kilos of liaison, and you'll see by now you know that the red dots are the liaison stage, and the red is the racing stage. And they say that there is 78% of sand and soil and 2% dunes. So is it going to be another fast one? Looks like it. We don't know until the books arrive. So they'll only know later tomorrow, because I'm told that tomorrow is another one of the closed book events. So that brings us to the end of our show tonight. Join us again tomorrow, 6 o'clock. We'll be on YouTube tomorrow night. We'll have a promo, and in the meantime, drop us any questions, queries, anything that you'd like to know, and we'll try and get answers for you. We will have some proper interviews, and we're hoping to have a studio guest for tomorrow night. So join us tomorrow night. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's nearly the end of the weekend. There's a little bit left. Let's have a great week. Be fast, have fun, and be safe. Thanks for watching. Cheers.